Alright, hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a review for Hu Tao, and this review is written under the assumption that you have a basic knowledge on Hu Tao's kit already. If you don't, then I definitely suggest you watch some of my other videos on Hu Tao if you haven't already. Links to those will be in the description down below. And before we jump into the actual review, I'm going to go ahead and plug my Twitch and the Discord. On my Twitch, I do a lot of math and testing, as well as we just chill and hang out. The Discord's also a great place to talk Genshin, anime, and a bunch of other things as well. So come join. Anyway, on to Hu Tao. So there are a couple of good and bad things you should know about Hu Tao if you plan to pull for her. And of course, everything that I'm going to be saying in this video are pretty much opinions, but it should help you make a decision if you've been on the fence about Hu Tao. We're gonna first talk about all of her pros and then go into some of her cons. First off is the fact that Hu Tao basically has no internal cooldown. Basically, every single one of her attacks is going to cause a vaporize reaction. Her normal attacks and charge attacks share a separate internal cooldown timer, meaning that you can vape both your first normal attack and your charge attack that follows directly after that. Included in that separate internal cooldown timer is also your Blood Blossom, and then further beyond that, her Elemental Burst shares a different internal cooldown. This means that literally almost every single part of her kit can vaporize as long as you can keep the Hydro up, or really any kind of elemental reaction for that matter. Next up is the fact that Hu Tao provides crit rate. Hu Tao is generally regarded as a main carry character that does all of the damage for the team, but a lot of people overlook her crit rate passive. A 12% crit rate is a huge boost for the team, especially if the rest of your teammates is at around 50 or below crit rate. 12% can give you up to a 20% average damage increase, and that's absolutely massive. So not only does Hu Tao herself do a lot of damage, but she can also support the team pretty well. And although this is supposed to be a C0 review of Hu Tao, I just wanted to mention her C4 because it gives an extra 12% crit rate, giving a total of 24% crit rate to the team. And 24% crit rate is absolutely insane. That is a whole lot of crit rate, and the average damage of your team is going to go up by a lot here. Hu Tao constellations are honestly really scary, really good. Next up is the fact that Hu Tao can probably have the highest attack stat of any character in the game, even if you have similar investments on your other characters. Right now, holding a Staff of Homa, I have 1900 attack, and with an Ascendant Ayaka, I have about 1600, and she's holding a black sword. Here I have a Eula that has about 1800 attack with a Serpent Spine. And here I have a child with a Viridescent Hunt with about 1700 attack. But of course, this is a 5-star. So let's just switch this out for something else, something like a Deathmatch. This lowers her attack to about 1200. But when I do that, we go up to about 3000 attack. So even without the Staff of Homa, Hu Tao has a lot of attack. Like a whole lot. And all of these characters are built in a classic way based on their kit. Next up is the fact that HP percent substats are really good on Hu Tao. You know, generally HP is not something that you want, so usually those are the artifact pieces that you throw away. But for Hu Tao, HP is great because they just directly translate into giving her more attack. You should definitely watch my more in-depth videos covering Hu Tao's best artifact substats. Again, links to that will be in the description below because that is a whole nother video in of itself. I can go on about that for about 15 to 20 minutes. So definitely go and check that video out. But really, this makes your artifact farming a bit easier because you have a bit more freedom in choosing which artifacts you want to level up. Obviously, you should still look for crit and not just focus on HP, but HP is very good. Hu Tao does a ton of damage. This move right here, especially when you're below 50% HP, and if you trigger an elemental reaction, I think you've seen the screenshots. She can one-shot a lot of enemies in this game if you have the proper setup. If you vape or melt this move while under 50% HP, you can net a couple 100,000 damage, maybe even 1,000,000 if you have the right artifacts, setup, party members, and all that. But with an average non-whale build and a bit of practicality, you can probably hit around the 100 to 200k mark on a regular basis for most of the content, without a lot of crit damage and elemental mastery. And of course, not going into that whale territory and having insane luck on your artifacts. Her charge attacks are also really fast. You can deal 50k plus damage per hit with an average build, and you can get about 7 to 8 of these charge attacks with a single E-skill activation. Hu Tao is definitely by far one of the best pyro characters out there. No cap. So yeah, Hu Tao is a big pyro powerhouse. And lastly, of course, she's cute. She's so cute. So if you play this for looks and character personality, and you just really love her, the way she looks and everything, that's another reason why you might want to pull for her. She's just too dang cute. Okay, but now we move on to the cons. So although Hu Tao has her pros, she also has her cons. First off is the less than 50% HP requirement. If you're not below 50% HP, she's losing out on a very big 33% pyro damage bonus. However, since her kit is specifically designed to keep her below 50% HP, this is really good. But this does mean that you have to play her properly. If you start Hu Tao at full HP and you pop her E-skill, you will not get her bonus. So she needs to be about around 70% HP, and then you activate your E-skill in order to hit that 50% threshold. Her elemental burst is also supposed to keep her alive so that she doesn't actually die when she's below 50% HP. However, if you hit too many enemies, you're going to overheal yourself, and then you're no longer going to have that damage bonus. So if you accidentally heal yourself to full, the next time you activate your E-skill, you're not going to be below 50% HP. So this can be very finicky depending on the matchup. Of course, no one is stopping you from playing her while she's above 50% HP, but just know that you are losing out on quite a substantial amount of pyro damage bonus if you are above 50%. Next up is that she needs a shield. At least arguably. At C0, her charge attack spam eats a lot of stamina, so combined with dodging, you might not have enough, and you might get hit by a fatal blow. Bringing a shield is going to allow you to play at that 50% threshold and not have to worry about dodging moves while keeping your stamina up so that you can spam those charge attacks a little bit more liberally. Next is stamina management at C0. At C0, her charge attacks is going to cost you 25 stamina, and this is a problem especially if you are a player that loves to dash cancel every single move in your kit. Because by the time you switch into Hu Tao, you're going to have less than 200 stamina, and you won't be able to get all of your charge attacks off within a single rotation of her E-skill. Next up is that positioning is hard to hit multiple enemies with a single charge attack. It is possible to hit multiple enemies with a single charge attack if they are positioned correctly, but most of the time you'll probably only be hitting one unless you have a character like Kazuha or Venti that can group them up, or if you're really good at positioning the enemies. So if that's not a skill that you want to learn, then know that Hu Tao's AoE damage is not as powerful as some other characters. And we've been talking about it this whole entire time, but charge attacks. Hu Tao is 100% focused on charge attacks, so you gotta ask yourself, do you like charge attack playstyles? Especially ones where you are pretty much only using your charge attack. It can be a bit disorienting too, especially with the auto lock in this game. When you use your charge attack, sometimes you'll go in a direction that you don't want to go, and it can be a little bit disorienting. Because the thing is, with the auto target in this game, you pretty much just use your charge attack in the direction of the enemy that's closest to you. So it's really hard to control. That means in order to control your positioning, you need to learn how to jump cancel your charge attack so you don't go flying in a direction that you don't want to be. So that's Hu Tao in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and consider subscribing to the channel. Every little bit helps me out, and until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.